Okay, we're getting into the divine feminine update. And look, I literally, when I looked at this read, I was like, and this will pertain to me, I'm a divine feminine. I did get a synchronistic message, and it was from your counterpart, our counterparts, the divine masculine. And we are going to get into what that's going to be. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am Yildiz, your host from Yildiz Readings 5D. And I cover the astrology. I'm a psychic medium, clairvoyant. I'm a soul coach, and I do cover the twin flame path. We cover these energies weekly. And if you do want to join our Sage Inner Circle network, that does have your videos ad-free, coaching and more, visit our landing page that has all the information for you online via our website. Now, we are going to get into the update and see what's coming up for you, Divine Feminine. Now, I was looking at this read and I'm going, okay, let me understand. We could look at this from a very basic point of view and say the first 2 months of the year can be pretty intense into the first 6 months. However, when we are looking at this, moving from the big shadow work we did with the full moon in Cancer, moving towards the new moon in Capricorn, we are trying to take a grounded approach. Now, for some of you, and I will say this is 50-50, the first few messages I'm going to interpret for you. Now, this card here, I'm looking at the 2 items that she is holding in her arms. And the card drops down to a 7, linking to the relationship center, creating your own happiness, beginnings regarding the conditions, etc. Okay? Managing to be light. Now, look at this individual. Up to the left, am I really? Now, do I give you the message from the divine masculine first? I think I might hold that, okay? Only because the overarching energy, when I do pull back to that, is for some of you, it can be you're having a hard week. You're trying to focus on yourself. You're trying to do you. You're trying to create the conditions in a stinky situation, one could say. 2's company, 3's crowd. Never question yourself. If there is a third party situation that's difficult, you're within your right to say, look, no, that's not for me. The other thing I can say is you could be, for some of you, getting some gossip about a situation that is coming to a close with counterpart or within the situation. There could be an element for some of you of, how can I place it? It feels a little bit like there is some humor behind it, but you're wondering whether it will go in your favor or not. And, this is because for some of you, it can be you're looking at things very realistically, very Capricorn. It's like, and Capricorns do have the best of sense of humors. Do not get me wrong. They really do. We have some lovely Capricorn energies as clients, as members also. Now, you may be looking at this very realistically, and you can see there are 2 sides to this coin, which is a bit of a catch-22. It's like, okay, you're looking at it, your twin flame path, the situation's coming to a head, and you're kind of like, but on this side of the coin, this could happen, and on this side of the coin, that could happen. And the message that's been given to me is it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, I don't get that as a bad thing. You're just very realistically looking at the polarity, okay? Take that with a grain of salt. You get what I'm saying. The other thing I'm sensing is, there can be some gossip coming through. This could also be intuitive. Many of you have a psychic connection with this individual. Many of you do hold psychic intuitive gifts. So you are going to be more susceptible to these energies as they're coming through the grapevine, especially at a very collective level, as we are at the midway point, beyond the midway point, and you're going to start picking up on the eclipse energy. For me personally, I was picking up on that energy in, I would say, November, December. Because I know what to look for, seeing common themes happening in my world. For you, it can be becoming more intense, and you are going to need to really keep your fluid up, keep your nerves, try and get grounded here and there. Understand that you're part of connections, have tribe, have connections, moving towards them, getting grounded, trying to keep in a routine. Some of you could have this revelation that you are so fed up of having a routine that you're like, am I really happy with my life? Like, is this it? If this is it, what am I going to do to make it the best vibration? I remember in my ascension path, and I'm going to take a broad view here before I tell you about the masculine's message, and I'm trying to gauge when that will be the right time, because I feel that there are, although there is a one particular message, there is a secondary stage coming through this read, and I don't want you to miss out on that. The overall energy, I do recall looking back to this factor, and it was like, looking at life and going, okay, if this individual's not here and it's been a stinky situation, I've come to the set of creating boundaries and I'm where I am on my ascension path. This was way back when. How can I make my life feel like a hotel? How can I make my life feel like a holiday? And something that if I don't love my life, regardless of the tornado I'm living in, how can I live inside the eye of a storm and wave like a tree with flexibility, but with endurance and stability, and still thrive? And how can I make that situation most attractive to myself, but also to other individuals, where they would feel, hey, that's a vibrant life. I would really like to live inside that life. So it was really about creating a vision board and being almost the role model to myself that I actually had to really work on to get myself there, that I would keep myself in check each week and say, do I love this life? What is there I could change? Where is my power that I could directly do that? And I think for some of you, there is the setting of an intention at the moment, regardless of what you see happening out in the world. I want you to each day check in with yourself and just take one little step, regardless of what is happening out in the world. And you are going to be setting yourself up for the next 20 years. Trust me on that factor. So small baby steps, really working through it, moving towards your goals and aspirations, because, you might have these kind of outcomes, especially pertaining to the past, where something you overlooked could be closer than you think. It could be changing. You could be going, hey, I just need to block this person. I'm not looking at it. Hey, maybe this is as good as it gets. It could be a wound that you're having to look back over and say, could in some area, could I be a blockage in this situation? And I'm not saying that if a person's being toxic as hell, that you're the problem. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. But there is this internal dialogue you are personally investigating to look at your life moving forward. There also, if you have not been looking what has been going on with your twin, some of you could be getting some psychic downloads, and there could be a significant event that is coming to a head that can actually change the whole trajectory of the past. And I think you're trying to be in the heart of it, very present. You're trying to be very present. You do, for some of you, it could be that you're trying to raise that vibration and be the best standard. You're trying to be the better person. It could be in general that you are the better person, and you're trying to lead by example, but that it does feel like you could be looking at life going, hey, I really feel I'm circulated by clowns. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm not a twin. Why do I have to be responsible? Why do I have to be the odd one out? Why do I feel I don't connect? Why do I feel, I'm the only one going through this? Trust me, there are a lot of people, and especially in this path, that do feel that. So you are not crazy. Not that I am a practitioner, but I am just saying, this card reading is not oozing that whatsoever. Could you feel down at times? 100%, and that's natural. Now, somebody could be turning into you for advice. There could be a pocket group of individuals, but I feel that you are needing some space. I feel you're needing time to reflect upon how you feel about things. It's almost like the post-Christmas New Year's jitters, needing some personal space for self, even though you're having to hit the ground running. Things are coming at you. It's almost like this unfinished business of last month is cropping up, and it doesn't feel fair. You again might be feeling, when are things going to swing in my favor? I also got this huge feeling, and this middle card, bottom row, does to me relate to this top row. Your crowding energy, managing to be glad. Remember, I said I had this sarcasm coming through, and it felt almost like if you do gain some insight about what's happening, the terminology of karma being a bit of a BIT, yeah, we'll just go there. It's almost like this awareness that, it's sometimes it can give us a bit of a skip in our step when somebody that is toxic gets a bit of karma. And it's not that we want to be nasty people. It's that, you might not ever be able to sneeze without karma coming. Do you get what I'm saying? So you get it, you empathize, you understand, you get that what goes around comes around. You may feel that the things that you're having to address in your life are just not fair. For some of you, it could be that you're tired of that now, and there are some major changes that you personally are wanting to make in your life, but you're feeling burdened by responsibility. So these adjustments, especially if you want to dive into it even further, because I do feel divine feminine, you guys are sort of you're having revelations. You could be having some challenges. There are some shifts within your intimate sphere. I feel that major areas in your life you want to rewrite. This could be through, initially you were potentially saying, look, I'm just going to keep it as the status quo. I'm going to continue forward. I feel that something this month is drastically shifting that to shake the jelly beans out. And Jack and the Beanstalk is coming through, planting those seeds where it's giving absolutely no choice. Now we have 3 rules of the universe. There is something separate to your counterpart that needs changing that you actually do want to change, okay? It's not you want it to stay ratty. You don't want life to be yucky. I don't believe that at all. Not for a second. Therefore, I feel, especially from observing these cards, and I'm still yet to give you a message about your counterpart. They're like, look, they want you to be happy. That, sometimes when we hear readers come through and say, oh, but there's this or that, and then we can look in and go, well, hang on a minute. I'm here for the counterpart reading. I totally get that. Trust me, I've done it myself. We're leading to this point where there's an external circumstance. Now, it does feel all you have had to do in life has been eat, pray, repeat. Purge, eat, pray, repeat. And so, although you have done so much of that, you could be fed up of that. The only one area you feel maybe that is needed is a romantic spare to just go according to plan for a change. They're also saying that eat, pray, repeat is part of life as well. And if that's shitty, that also needs to change. And so they're bringing me to this storyline and this outcome is that, for some of you, it was there for your ascension process in a routine sense. But there is one particular area in your life that is set to have a shake-up. And I do feel it will, yes, simultaneously be happening in Divine Masculine's life, but I feel this is actually going to bring you those niceties. This is what we may not understand. And believe me, I will be coming back to this reading. I am pre-recording this ahead so that I can get these messages, and I'm going to keep this in mind during that time of this week, okay? Because whatever is taken from our choice generally means it comes up in 3. We get the near-miss, the intuition. We get the intuition, the thought, the acknowledgement. We get the, I should really address that. And then it's like, okay, well, you knew, you had time, you still didn't do anything about it. Okay, well, it's going to happen to you now, for you, but it's still going to happen. The choice is out of the equation. And yet, look, even at a very separate level, some of you could be feeling, in the context of your connection, some choices have been taken from you. And that can be for better or worse. do feel you do have the power in this situation, though. I feel that you are going to have the power to make a choice. Now, the message of the day. What was coming, and I'm going to go into this a bit deeper. We're going to pull this up and we're going to move into clarifiers. The one message I had here, and I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, was, we have this managing to be glad card. We have the individual holding two skunks. Okay. If, and it's, you look at the connection of the twin flame path in instances, not the whole way through, that it can be a pretty stinky situation. It can be difficult. It could have its most romantic, intimate times, and it can have the pits of despair. And, it's just like, why am I doing this? How did I get into this? Now, your guides and counterpart are saying, and, this is, I can be honest, my twin literally never forced me to do anything. It was through ascension, connection, soul contract, but also there was this thought process at a particular point in ascension, which for some of you, it could be what you're going through, because we look at this energy here and we look at the outcome card of the no choice. You can feel like, okay, I might have chosen to just walk away from this situation, and it's not that I don't love them, but I feel everything. I feel the energy. I feel the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows. I feel it's a spiritual connection. I feel spiritually connected to them. So I'm kind of screwed. I'm sitting out here in the cold all alone, which, you're quite, it's better to be solo than, dancing around, the burden of being, you can sometimes feel you circulated yourself with clowns. It used to be a fun house. They're getting you back to being the true you, the fun you, the happy you, the doing things passionately, the putting your foot down and being bold and assertive. They're saying, be okay with the fact that you chose to make a decision that you felt was healthy for you. That's okay. Be okay with the choices that you make. It's okay to make choices. Changes happen. But they're also saying, you also don't think that everything is just this one area. They're saying, if it's that stinky, accept that old story was bad and go into acceptance of that. But also, they're saying, don't put the things on hold that you feel you want to change that are separate to me on hold. Please make decisions if you need to. If you hate your job, if you hate where you're living, they're saying, don't put that on hold, because if something stinks, it stinks, and accept that and move in this direction that you feel is going to make you the happiness, because they do not want you to be unhappy. And they're also saying it's okay for you to think that, the connection just with you and me stinks. That's okay too. We can go through these ebbs and flows of trauma, of feelings, of truths. And today that may be yours. But at a point, you will come to, don't get it to the point where there is no choice. Get it to the point where you know what you want to do. But they are referencing very strongly an area of life that is overdue for change, that is separate to them, that may have been on hold. They're wanting you to address it now, because theirs is coming to a head too. Now, we will check in with the synergy next week. If you do want to follow us, you can click the bell. Otherwise, you can follow us through our website, where we give newsletters. We have our landing page for Sage Inner Circle Network, and you can sign up to it there. So come through. Otherwise, I will see you next week, and for our energy updates. Take care.